Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Hyderabad Power Apps and Power Automate User Group January 2020 meetup. As part of our today's meetup, we have two sessions scheduled. One is from Roohi, and she will be talking about overview of customer service workspace. And the second session we have is from Swamy, which is about the components of Angular 11, and they are targeted for beginner level. So first, we'll start with Ruhi's presentation. So Ruhi, all over to you. Please, I can
Thank
see
you.
your screen and you
Yeah,
can start. Thank you.
thank you, Ritika, and thank you, Yash, for giving me this opportunity to go ahead and present to the Hyderabad group. And that's the beauty of virtual sessions. You can be sitting in Mumbai and presenting to an audience watching your show across the globe. So, thank you so much for joining in. Today, I'm going to give a brief overview and walkthrough. It is more like a level 100. It will just be a walkthrough of what are the capabilities of the new customer service workspace. So, for those that do not know what is customer service workspace, it is a new app. So if you haven't seen it, if you switch up or switch on it, okay, sorry. So a little bit about myself before I get into it. Yeah, this is my slide. This is my bio. I work for iNogic, and we are an ISV. I've been in the CRM space since 3.0, and basically I have a background of ERP and CRM. I started my career with blog on all my findings and whatever I do during my day-to-day day job with the Dynamics 365 CRM. So moving ahead and starting off, yeah, what's the agenda for the day? The agenda would be, like I said, it's going to be an introduction, a brief overview. This is a new app. So what is this app? Why is it here? What's its purpose? That's what we're going to talk about. There are three main components to the customer service workspace: the agent scripts, smart assistant, KB search, knowledge base articles, and we're going to see how they help and how do we get them to work. I will give a brief demo of all of these. And in the end, if time permits, we are going to discuss about the customization and configuration of options that are available with the customer service workspace app. And this is important because usually, quite often these days, Microsoft does come out with features that are not that customizable. So it would be good to just uh, have a look at what options are available currently as of today with the customer service workspace app. And I would definitely want to touch upon app profiles, which is a new concept of configuration and that has been introduced with customer service workspace app, which I think uh, moving forward in future they could actually use this concept for their other apps as well, maybe sales or service or any of those apps as well. So we'll touch and see what this app profile does now. So we have already seen customer service hub app that was dedicated to the customer service area of business, and it had cases and activities and SLAs and things like that. And now we have something that is called customer service workspace app. So how is it different? uh, is it that we can start using customer service workspace app without customer service hub? Is it a replacement? Is it complementary? What is it? So that's what we're going to talk about here now. It is not a replacement. Customer service workspace app is really a complementary to your customer service hub app, and is only available uh, if you have the customer service subscription enterprise. You also need customer service enterprise subscription to be able to access the customer service workspace app. Now, what was the reason to come out with the customer service workspace app? Now, this is not really something that is new. For those that have been in working with the product and have been keeping tab on what's happening with Dynamics 365, they may have heard about omni-channel. So this was a service, I think it's almost a year, a couple of years now, or at least a couple of years into it. There was Omni Channel, which was targeted towards agent experience. So basically, you have call centers and you have one agent working on multiple cases, and the experience, not just cases, but basically even say there were various channels that they were supporting. So say WhatsApp as a channel. So you have support agent working on multiple sessions that are on a WhatsApp channel, or multiple cases. Somebody's called you and you are working on that. You're working on the case. So omni channel was designed for that. Now, what customer service workspace app, as I see it, uh, is branching out, or probably taking the learnings and the experience and the design from omni-channel, and just taking a part out of it and bringing it to complement the customer service hub app that we have. So over here on my tab, you can see on my screen, you can see that in terms of what can be done is here. What happened when we were working with the traditional customer service hub app was, say, suppose again, go back to that same experience that you are an agent, and you are probably, on a chat screen or something, one of those channels, you are talking to multiple customers at the same time. So what you would really have is, you would have case forms, or probably record account forms or contact forms of all of these people who you're talking to, open on the same screen, which can make your screen too cluttered base. And plus, what would happen is, you wouldn't know which, it is very easy to actually be referring to the wrong case form, or while talking to a customer, because you have just so many tabs open. Now, one of the best things about the customer service workspace app is the concept of introduction of a concept of a session. So when you're working on a single case, you can actually start a session for that particular case. And when you start a session, anything related to that particular case, like you want to open the customer form, or you want to open the knowledge base article form, or you want to do a search screen, or you want to check the website of this particular customer, any of those things that you do, you are actually putting them together in a single session. So if you're working on working simultaneously chatting with two customers, you'll actually have two sessions open. So this eliminates the issue that you would have, that I talked about, where you can get confused. You can have, now it is proper segregation between the various sessions, and when you switch between the sessions, you know that in this session, and all the tabs that I have in this session are related to this particular customer only. Now, the other major thing, that difference that we see between the Customer Service Hub app and this new app, is that earlier, when you had cases, okay, you had cases, you could your agents work on those cases, but there was no way basically to provide something like a transcript. Okay, and you are pretty aware that in the industry, when you're talking about a call center or something, they are always provided with a transcript. They're provided with not just a transcript, but also a guidance on what should be done, like basic help tips on, first ask this question, then say this, if they do this, then do that, things like that, the entire flow of how the conversation should be conducted with the customer. So this was missing in when we just use the traditional customer service hub app, and we just open a case form and go about doing things. Now, with the Workspace app, we also get the ability to design transcripts and automation scripts. Automation scripts here are called macros, to assist the agent and rep. We are going to see in detail how the transcripts and macros can be designed. And like I said, this is built using the IP included in the omni-channel app. So you will also find, if you go into the customer service app, workspace app, or if you try to look for on the docs for the customer service workspace app, the help text, you might find references to omni-channel. So it would say that in customer service, a workspace app, only this tag is supported, because generally they have just given on the docs there is a cumulative help, which is basically for your omni-channel app, and then they at the end they have written what pieces of this is now applicable and working with a customer service workspace app. So in terms of licensing, I'm not a licensing expert. So all that I have over here is you need to have a customer service enterprise license in your tenant for each user to be able to access the customer service workspace app. Now here is I've included some screenshots, quick screenshots, just in case I have issues when presenting. So this is what your customer service workspace app looks like when you log in. So you basically start with the home. So it's on the home that you would start. You would have a dashboard on your home, and then from which is basic, and on the dashboard you would have like my open cases, or my yeah, it's cases, my open cases, or overdue cases, or something of that sort. Now when you click on it, now how do you click? You don't simply click. So there is a way to open the session. You need to do a control and click, shift and click. So in I use Mac. So for Mac I had to do shift and click. When you do shift and click, it actually switches to a new session. So you can see that order not shipped, this is one of the case. Complete overhaul is another case. And if you see, Paul Cannon is actually a contact, but I could even open that record as a session over here. So under home, what you see, all of those items listed under the home are actually individual separate sessions, and you can work on those sessions. Now every session can have multiple tabs. This is what I was saying. So this is a case, and if you see next to the case, I have opened the customer record of the case, so that for a quick reference. Now, if I wanted, in the third tab, I could open the website of the customer, or probably knowledge base article that I want to share with the customer on the call. I could have all of those open, and these are a part of the same session. These will be tabs within a session. Now, another, if you look at the right side that we have, you have three options over here in your navigation pane over here on the right side. The first one is the Smart Assist. The Smart Assist will give you, as the name suggests, it is AI powered, and it will give you suggestions with regards to similar cases that you have worked on, or knowledge base articles that you think that it thinks could be applicable to the given case. So that is what they call the Smart Assist. Agent scripts is like what I said. Agent scripts, you can define agent scripts. The agent scripts can have macros within them. Macros is nothing but automation. So if right here, like if you see in the screen, what I have is the case opened in the first tab. Now this first tab is also called the anchor tab, and any action that you perform on the agent script, or the KB article or Smart Assist, all of this work only on the anchor tab, the first tab that is there. So an anchor tab has is also a specific keyword. So when we write macros and other things, we are going to refer to anchor as it. And when you say anchor, anchor is the first tab that we are talking about in the session. So we'll see agent scripts in detail, and the third is knowledge articles that we have done. So it picks up the case title, and then it will search in your KB system, in your database, for any KB matching KB articles that are there. And then when you see this, when you have these KB articles listed over here, you can see this button over here. You can actually go, I'll do it and show you, but you can actually go and link this KB article with the open case. and this article will start showing up against the case with just a single click over here. Now, agent script. So here is what agent script looks like within the agent. Now, one thing that you need to that I found a little problematic, so I would rather mention that over here. You see the unique name. If I had written this name simply as script, it wouldn't let me save. So it is following the usual concept of a prefix, underscore, and then the name. So unless you do something like a underscore, there is a prefix part, and then there is the other part. It won't let you save the unique name. So throughout the Workspace app, whether you're working for macros or agent scripts or any of thing, wherever you try to create something and it asks you for unique name, please follow the format of a prefix, underscore, the name, whatever it is. Now within a agent script, you can have multiple steps. So like I said, agent script is nothing but like a guidance to your agent on what should be done. So either now what should be done, there are three types of steps that are supported at the moment. So the first one is a agent script. That means uh, sorry, the first one over here is text. It is simple static text that you can type. So something like I have over here, greet the customer and thanks. So it's like guiding the agent that when you're talking to, the first step that you do is greet the agent and thank them for it. Now, the second action type that is supported is script. So it is like a child. So anybody who's worked with flows or workflows or any of that, it is like a child script. So a script calling another script. So you can also, the benefit of this is you could create a script which is generic enough, and then wherever you need it, in whichever script you need it, you just include it as a step over there. So you can call a child script from within a script. So that is the script type of action that you have. And then finally, the third one that we have is the macro, which is the automation steps that can be done. So with a combination of these three steps, you can actually generate and set up the whole transcript for your agents to follow when working on a particular case. Now, what are macros? Macros are, like I said, automation script. Now, take for example, it is possible that when you must have seen that if you are calling, say, suppose you're a mobile operator, there is an issue with your phone or something, and you have called your mobile operator, and you are talking to them. At some point, sometimes they say, okay sir, we will, oh sir or ma'am, we will send you an email. Do you think they are sitting and composing that email right there right then? No, they are not. They have been given some kind of an automation button or some kind of a script where they just click execute, and that email is automatically sent. So this is what the macros do. Now you can use these macros to open. So I have the next slide where I will show you all the options that are supported by the macros, and the macros get you contextual information of the anchor record, like I said. And as you can see in the screenshot and the screen that I have over here, the interface looks like more of the Power Automate flow interface that we have, and it is basically something similar to that, the automation. So anybody who's worked with flows would find the interface pretty similar, and there would not be much of a learning curve involved when working with this. Now, what are the various automation? So similar to flow, you have a connector, and the connector has certain actions that are supported. So here, these are the actions that are supported through macros from within the customer service workspace. Now, I have tried the following one: open an existing record, where I try to open the customer record, open an email form with a predefined template, autofill form fields. These are the three things that I have tried. There are other things also, open a record grid and thing. Now, one thing that I would want to mention over here that could be very disappointing is that a lot of things. Um, could be hard coded. That is something I will show you. When I go to the demo, I will show you where it just allows for static values to be provided. So when you are providing a static value, this operation kind of loses the meaning and the value, because I want to take reference from the anchor tab, the case which is open, and I want to do something relative to the data on that particular anchor tab. So this is one limitation in some areas which I noticed, and we will see. I will show you the issues that I had come across. Uh, so here, so here I've just given you one example of, say, create a new email from an email template, right? So here what it expects is the entity logical name, the template ID, the entity record ID, and the email recipients. Okay. Now, again, the first three, the first is incident. You can hard code, or you could actually take a reference from the OData reference, that is possible. Template ID, understood, you can hard code it because you are creating a particular step, and you know for that step always this particular template needs to be used. You could do that. Now, entity record ID, I was able to reference anchor. Anchor is the first tab, and the case which is open in that particular tab. The incident ID. I need to design email. I need to open the email with regards to that particular. So when I'm using a email template, populate all the data within the slugs within that email template by using reference of the incident from the anchor tab. Now here, email.recipients. Now session.email. Like I said, session is not available in customer service workspace app. This might be available in the omni channel, but it's not available as part of your customer service workspace app. And so again, the real automation would have been if I have a macro, I can design an email form, pre-fill the content using a predefined template, as well as set the email recipient to the customer on the case that is open in the anchor tab. Unfortunately, at the moment, setting up of email recipients dynamically is not supported. So all you could do right now is just open the email, but you will have to type in the email recipient manually. Another step that is available over here, that pre-populate the form for a new record. Okay, so you want to open. So this is what I was again attempting to do. So because my previous exercise didn't really work with setting the recipients, this was my other attempt at doing it. So you can create a new form and then create a new record. So email is my new record, and then I can set up the subject. So again, here I'm able to reference my anchor tab, which is an incident entity, and then I can refer to the attributes from the incident entity over here. So this is how I could go about doing it. But this regarding object ID, I think it didn't work. So the title works, but the regarding object ID didn't work. Now here is the third example where we talk about autofill. So you want to, usually it is, there are some set steps to be performed when you're updating a case. Say suppose there are four fields that you want to when you are communicating with a customer, and there are some certain four fields that you need to update, and these four fields are on four different tabs. You may want to create an automated step which when executed, it will automatically set the values of these fields, so I don't have to go and individually update the value in each of these fields. So this is where this action can come to your rescue, which is autofill field values on case record. and then you can always make a combination, use a combination of all of these steps. So my step one does something, and on the step two works on the top of the step one that was performed. So you can, just like a flow, so you can build sequentially, you can sequentially executing steps in your macro can all just similar to your flow can be designed. Now, before I touch upon the customization capabilities, I would want to switch my screen and take you to the screen actually over here and show you how it works. So this is the home. So again, so over here, next to your customer service hub app, you will start seeing this new app, customer service workspace app. And when you choose this workspace app, this is what it looks like. It has a customer service agent dashboard, which is a list of all the cases available to work on. So this is your usual standard dashboard. Now, if you click on this, simple click, there is no session that opens. Okay, it just overrides the current tab, current page. So this is not how we go about doing it. Uh, go back to go back to the workspace app. So shift and click. So shift and click is what I do to open this as a session. So if you see, this was my session. This was my first home tab. It's not overridden. It actually opened it as a session over here. Now, if I do Now for me, because I am a Mac user, on MacBook there is a button called command. So when I do a command plus click, it will open in a new tab. I think for Windows users it is control plus click. So when you do a shift plus click will open in a new session, control plus click will open a new tab over there. So now this way you can open tabs. Now, other than that, you can also say, suppose you want knowledge base articles over here, knowledge articles. So you can actually open the tab. It can open all of the knowledge articles. Say this was all about average order shipping. So say delivery never arrived, order shipping timing. Let's take this. Okay, so you can have this open over here and you can see what the content is. You could be working on it. Now this is also, as you can see, everything related to this particular case that you're working on, you can open them in tabs which belong to the same session. Now if I go and open another case over here, that's a new session, that's another session. Now, when I come here, I don't see details of my average order. So it helps me organize my work according to the cases that I am currently working on. It helps me switch and make sure that I do not confuse between the various tabs that are open. Now let's take this uh, and let's talk about the knowledge article. So over here, it takes the case title and it will search for the knowledge articles. Now again, there is a settings screen. Uh, One sec, I think I had it open. It's not open. Okay, I have this over here. So this is about knowledge articles. Okay, I'll come to that later. Wait. Now, one thing to note is that, and that's why I'm going to switch my demo midway to another environment, because the first tab, the smart assist, as you can see, it says no articles or no suggestions found for knowledge article, because this is an environment that is on the Indian environment CRM 8, and this feature is currently not available in this data center. So that's why I have this other organization over here where you can actually set up. So that tab over there is basically going to show you. So if I, what happened? Where the navigation tab go? Yeah, it's opened up. So on this environment, the AI capabilities are available, and as you can see, it auto depending on the case title that you have, it searches for all of the KB articles that could be similar or that it thinks could be helpful. And if you can see, it shows the confidence percentage as well. Okay, you can say whether it is relevant, not relevant. You can actually associate it. So if you associate it, let me come here. Okay, see over here right now there are no associated knowledge articles. But if I do this over here, say order shipping time, need service feature, say, let me take this example over there. Okay, link to the case. If I do a refresh over here, it has associated this KB article with this particular case. So that is what. Similarly, there are similar case suggestions. Now, since there were no similar cases, the AI did not actually recommend any of the cases. Otherwise, the same thing. You would have a button like this, and when you click that, it would automatically get associated and show up in this associated similar cases subgrid that you have over here. Now let's switch back to this environment and go to the next option, that is the call scripts. Now you can see all the call scripts that you have defined. So I have three call scripts that I've defined over here, and depending on which call script I want to use, I can choose it from here. Now, in the first call script, if you see, this is just the first step for static text, which is like, uh, uh, just trying to help. It's kind of a help text for the agent that go and greet the customer and thank them for their service, and then the next step is about open the customer record. So let me just do this. Let me close this. Let me close this. Okay. So right now, this is my anchor tab. This is the first tab, and this is the anchor tab. If I click over here, now this call script that I had, this was the open customer record was actually a child script that I had included. That's why it came back over here. And over here, it says my step is run macro. This is the automation step. When I run this automation step, it will open the customer record that I have over here. So this was a very simple example of how I got the customer record open, but you could use this to do even other complex items that you want to do with taking reference from the case data from the case that is available. I opened the customer record. If you had some other relevant field on this form that you wanted to open and refer the form for, you could go ahead and open that over there. Now, here, this is the example that I have for autofill data. So I will just do this update. I'll set the priority as high, and I will do this as in progress, and I will save this. Now I'll do the second step. So say suppose like after every communication before ending for updating the case, there are some 4 fields that need to be automatically updated. In my case, I'm updating the priority and case state over here. So if I click on this and I say execute, if you see, it was changed to low and waiting for details. So this is what I had in my presentation as well, that using the autofill form data, you could do this. And so this is what your scripts, agent scripts could help you with. And then finally you have the knowledge article. So this will just pick up your case title and search for whatever it finds. The smart assist is AI based suggestions, and this is basically just picking up your case title and doing a search and trying to find out what are the relevant, like you can see over here, order. So it's highlighting that order is the word that I found in all of these articles, and I have listed them over here. Now, let me just quickly switch to this. And so in case of autofill, it was simple. I was updating option set values, and therefore this was like the numeric values that I did. Okay, here's the agent script, and I can have multiple steps. So I had a static text, and then I had a child script over here. Now, if you move to this, open an existing record. Now over here, if you see, this is the OData reference values that the syntax. If you just say, how do I refer to an attribute, then it is the OData syntax that you get. So if you use flow, if you have used flow ever, and if you do if you read a record, okay, if you read a record and then you see what is the format in which the flow returns the output of the read operation, you will see a reference to all of these fields, these values that I've written over here. So anchor is your static key that refers to your first tab, the main tab, from where the values need to be picked up. And this is what you use to set up the logical name. So when you're opening a record, it's an entity reference. You need to give the logical name and then the record ID. So that's how you do it. And then you'll be able to open an existing record. Here, now here, so this email session, let me do this, send email. Okay, let me go back to the script and execute this macro. Okay, it failed. Okay, there's an error. So what it did is it set the subject, it pre-populated the template, all good here. From was from the user who did. Now Abraham over here. Now if you see Abraham over here, I'll just switch over here. This is actually hard coded. Okay, it does not allow. So the macro will autofill fields. See, Abraham. Okay, this is actually hard coded. So I had a discussion, and right now it does not support setting up of the recipients dynamically with reference from it. So this was just I was trying to do, so I filled it up. But in real world, this is not going to help because you will never know. You always want a dynamic reference over here. So hopefully they will work on it. But until then, you can just populate this is the only action you can perform. It will populate the email body, but not really set up the setup. So this is another action that I tried to do where I set up the email, and again over here hard coded. Okay, if you set up these hard coded into what I want, then that would work. But again, this is all hard coded that is going to work. There is no dynamic way to set that thing up. So this was about all of the features that are there available over here. Now, if do I have time? Ritika, can you do a time check? Do I have time?
Yes, Rui, you have 20 minutes.
Okay, I have 20 minutes. So over here, so let's look at this settings screen over here that we have right now. Now this is for, so how do you come here? Okay, you click over here, and again, if you see in your India environments, if you have a CRM8 environment, you will see that premium AI capabilities, this option is not available. You will only find the top three. You will not find this option available. And the smart assist is actually based on this suggestions that you use. So over here, when you do, so AI suggested knowledge articles and similar cases, right? So enable, now you can enable, disable, whatever you want. You can toggle the switch over here. And then again, this, so when you do it the first time, it is almost like an overnight that you need to leave it, because it will tell you a processing model. So it's an AI model is being processed irrespective of the data, because this is a demo environment that I had, but it still takes a while to process it. So to be on the safer side, you could just enable this option the previous day and then go and try out what its findings are the next day. Then again, data mapping field. So which are the fields that I should use for picking up the keywords? So case title and case details is what I want. It will list out all the other fields over here, and you can choose which one. But ideally, it's always the case title or of the case description that could be used to actually help the model find appropriate articles, similar cases, or even similarly for knowledge article. You can define the fields that it should use to train the model that is there, the AI model that is there. So only after you have made these settings and saved, will the smart assist start working. And this model pre-processing has to be complete. So the first run has to complete before you start seeing any results. Okay. Now let me switch back over here and talk about the customization capabilities that are available. So now, the most common question that can come is that this is the default screen that I see over here. I see on home, I see a dashboard. Can I add another dashboard? Can I add something else over here? Is it possible to do that? Yes, it is possible to do that. Again, if you click over here, you see various entities listed over here. Can I add my own entity? Yes, you can. I just added leads. Now, from that, now, even though this is a part of a customer service uh, hub and it's related to customer service, but the framework is there. So I actually tried to do this. So if I click on the lead, okay, I clicked on lead, the framework is there. So I can actually work with leads on in a multi-session environment. So everything that works over here, and I will later in this thing, I will show you what a session is. Now we are talking a lot about session, so we will even see whether what the screen that I get, by default when I click on one of the cases over here, all it does is just open this first tab for me. Can it also open 10 other tabs over here for me? Yes, you can. So we're going to look at that configuration option as well. So it is so as far as your navigation is concerned and the options that you see, yes, you can edit the sitemap, and you will be able to edit the sitemap, and you will be able to see the entities over here. You want to add any entity over here, do it. Edit the dashboard, choose the dashboard that you want. You don't want customer service agent dashboard, you want another dashboard to be shown. You can go ahead and do that as well. Yeah. So edit the sitemap to add additional entities. Now let's talk about app profiles. Okay. Now for that, let's go to make.powerapps.com. Let me open it. Okay. So here you have make.powerapps, and here you go to apps and you see all of your apps listed. Now if I choose, okay, customer service hub app, and I click this ellipsis over here, okay, you see you don't see any app profile option over here. But you do the same thing over here and you see this new app profile manager come up. Let me click on that. Okay. Now, what are app profiles? App profile is a way to, uh, it's like user or role based or user based experience that you want to design for your users for this particular app. So, when you saw this, when I did a quick demo right now, there were various components to it. Do I want to show this pane at all? Do I want to show smart assist? Do I want them agents, this agent script? What do I want them to see? What I don't want them to see? All of those options, okay, I can configure using this app profile. Now traditionally what used to happen is, okay, it closed my screen, so leave it. Traditionally, if you see, this is something that has always been controlled using securities rules. So if you remember how a security role looks like, it usually on the at the beginning it lists out all of the entities, and then you have the create, update, privileges, and then you enable, disable, or based on the depth that you want to provide for them. At the bottom of the screen, if you scroll down at the bottom, say if I'm going to talk about the sales sales tab of a security role, you would have special privileges, right, which are not like crude privileges, but they are like ability to override the price, or on an invoice, or on an order, or a quote, or something of like that. You remember, these are these or special features which are just basic option sets, a true or false flag, that is privilege, that can be set for within a security role. So as I see it, this is a new way of doing it, where you can actually define. So if I click on app profiles, I have designed a app profile. Now this is the default app profile that your customer service app is shipped with. So if I click on this, okay, there is a session template, then productivity pane. Now because this is a system profile, everything is disabled, I cannot edit it. But the productivity pane, do you want to show it? Do you want to hide it? By default, should it be expanded or collapsed? What do you want out of the three options that are available? Which one do you want to enable, disable? All of those you can do. And again, like I said, this is all basically a subset of the omni channel. So you will see this thing over here. But again, because I do not have an omni channel subscription, I have not spinned up a trial for it, then all of these this tab is not applicable to me. But the productivity pay, but again, like I'm saying, it is the same interface, it is the same framework. So that's why you will see such omni-channel references, but again, they will not be applicable for the customer workspace app that we have. Now, because this is not allowing us to do anything, let's go back and switch on this one. Okay, now in an app profile, okay, apart from just this UI experience that is there, that so over here I have that call script configuration, call script tool configuration I have set as off. Now let me see. No, that session also got disabled. So if and here assign users, so I can create a template, I can create a profile, and then assign it to users. Okay, so these are the users for which that particular profile I have associated. So if Sam logs into this environment, then I have said that call script is not available. So when a case pane opens, and when they open the productivity pane, they will not see the call script option. They will only see the first two options. So you can actually design the experience, control the app experience using the app profiles which is there. And that's why I said this concept again is like a framework which need not be restricted to customer service workspace alone. In future they could extend this, because there are such features that I may want to enable or disable, and instead of a settings entity, I could always you can always enable a app profile experience for them. So this is this again this is what your app profile can be helpful with. Now let's switch over here and see session templates. Now, interesting, if you can see over here, I did actually try to create a lead session template, and it allowed me to do it. It didn't stop me. Let me just open the case session template over here for you. Okay, one sec. let me open it from, let me open it from here. This is sessions, and over here, let me open application tabs. Okay, so case custom session configuration, let me enable it. Okay, so what session is this session? Okay, when I open a case, what happens? It opens the case default records, and what additional tabs do you want to open automatically? This is what you can define in your session template. So over and along with what are the agent scripts that you want to be made available for that particular session. So over here again, here I've said case. So now this is for a case session. Case entity session is what I've configured. So my anchor tab has to be a case. If it is case, then this is the template that would apply. And again, once the case is, like I said, IKL underscore, you need a prefix. If you don't put a prefix, it will not let you save. It will give you an error. You to fix it. Now, additional tabs. Here is where I said that there's quite a lot of things that are hard coded over here. So, going back to, so I actually showed you all through a macro how I can run a macro and open this customer record. So my thought was that when we have this concept of additional additional tabs, why can't I just open the customer tab? Why do I even have to create a macro and expect the agent to run the macro? So I wanted an experience where automatically when a case is opened in the next tab, automatically open the customer record for me as a reference. So when I try to do that, now I'll switch over here because application. So application tab, I can open it over here. For an application tab, now these are the various types of tabs that you can open: an entity list or a web resource, a dashboard, a control, a PCF control. If there is, you want to set up, show something. So PCF control, a dashboard, search, or a third party website. Now you could use any of these options, but the problem with any of these options are that if you see now over here, it was entity record, and these are the parameters that are required to open the customer, to open the entity record. Now in the entity record, if you see, I tried to pass customer as a customer ID as a parameter. It doesn't accept that. But if I pass a hard coded grid, that would work. And I confirm that at the moment, this doesn't work. I mean, this is how it is. It is expecting hard code values. It is not so. This has been brought to the attention of the product team, and they would be working on it. So right now, this is my R&D. I did it, but it never works. It doesn't open. It doesn't open additional tabs that is there. Now, similarly, over here, a website. If you choose a website, then it asks you for the URL that you want to open. Again, if I give a hard-coded URL, it works. If I try to do any kind of a dynamic reference like website URL or something of that sort, it doesn't currently work. Hopefully, it will work in the future updates. So using app profile, you are basically, when you come back over here, and if I go back to app profile, so uh, then go, yeah, if you go back to the app profile, within an app profile, you can design the session experience. So in the session experience, we were able to say which entity, primary entity, anchor entity, and what are the agent scripts that are available, if any, uh, along with any additional tabs that you wanted open when the session is invoked. And then you can decide the productivity pane. Assign the users. Now when these users log in, that is the experience that they will get. So that is all that I had to uh, show today with regards to the customer workspace app. If anybody has any questions, or if there is anything, happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Rui. This session was really insightful. I don't see any questions as of now on the chat. But for everyone, if you have any questions at any point of time, Yash shared Ruhi's credential on the chat, so you can connect with her on LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to her.
Thank you once again, Ritika and Yash, for giving me this opportunity. And I hope this session helped you and hope to be back again sometime. Thank you.
Yep, sure. Thanks, Ruhi.
Thank you. How do I stop sharing?
All right. The next session we have is on components in Angular 11 for beginners, and this session will be given by Swamy. So, Swamy sir, it's all over to you now. Maybe you can share your screen. I have already, started the broadcast. So.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much, Yash and Ritika. Good afternoon. So, how are you guys this afternoon?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And this is the second session
Mm-hmm.
of 15 session series. So, this is the second session. And all the entire code for this session will be under this repository. So, this uh, document is there which will guide you through whatever the steps has been mentioned in this document. We'll do the same to create our first Angular application with these three widgets, simple widgets, but we do that step by step with how to create the top band with the branding, and we'll do three types of component, and we'll see what is the component first. I mean, just for 1 minute, we'll in Angular, every component is a visual look and feel. See, these components are the main building blocks. Okay, so it contains three pieces. So it has got a class which will have the behavior, and it will have the HTML markup, and it will have the styling. So that's the component. So here what we are doing is we are creating components in three different ways. So the first method what we do is we'll create a component, and the component will be, as we have seen here in this Angular documentation, generally the components are made with these three things. So the TypeScript file will have the behavior, the markup, and the styling. And what we will do, the first version is we'll just create the TS file, the TypeScript file, and everything will add there itself. It will have the selector, and it will have the markup, and it will have the style. And then what we will do is we'll create these three in a separate one, and then create the version 2 of the same component. The version 1 will be developed using the TypeScript, the version 2 using the TypeScript, HTML, and CSS. These two we manually create it, and then we'll go ahead and use the CLI, and we'll see the benefit, how quickly we will be able to create this component without we going and manually creating the files and hooking up and everything. Okay, so this is a foundational block. So we'll start get going on this. So I just keep this thing handy. So one more thing I just want to show you here is that the latest version is Angular 11.0.6, and what do we have is 5. 11.0.5, that's one version prior to this. We can update it and do, but I just don't want sudden surprises, so I'll stick to the uh, one step behind. It's 11.0.5. The latest version is 11.0.6. Okay, so let's start building this step by step, and we'll walk through everything. So what I did is I have created a folder here in this repository. I called it as a starter files, and inside the starter files I've given all those things, so we can do a straight lift from these and copy and paste it there. So let me stick to this. So these are the software tools which we will be using, and prior knowledge of HTML, TypeScript, JavaScript, and basic Angular will be good, but that does not stop us from doing this. Okay, so we are developing the single page application. It's there'll be uh, 12 13 more sessions after this. This is the second. First we did for how to host it in Firebase as well as in Azure. This is the second session what we are doing it. Okay, without any further delay, let's start. The first command is that we'll execute this. So let me do a clean. I'm using this Visual Studio Code, and at this point of time, I can execute this from here also. Let me execute it from here. Ng new college. So this is the CLI, and I don't want routing. So at this point of time, I want CSS. So these are the three options which I have selected. We will go and use that documentation. So okay, while this is cooking up, let's spend some more time to understand a little bit of, as we have seen that the components is building block of that one. So, and one more thing is we'll use. If you see this one, the component, we have to create a class, and we have to add a tag to this one. So we call it as @component, and that component should have the selector. So that means how do you place this particular visual UI inside the browser? So you have to give a specific name for this component. It can have the template as well as the style. Okay, so that particular thing is called as the metadata. That means additional information which you pass to this object. Through this object, whatever this additional information we pass here, if you see this, the selector is calc, and the template URL is using the external template, but we will do the other way, where we first go and add it here itself. Okay, I think this is going to take some more time. It's let's check that how much. I think it is done, or it should give me the control. Okay, it's installing the packages. So we'll wait on this one. Okay, and that's one thing. And where does this get hooked up? Okay, so we are creating a component, and we'll export that component so that it can be used in rest of the places. And another important point is there will be something known as a app.module. So whatever the component which we create, it has to be declared under the declaration over here. And something known as bootstrapping the application, that is app component. App component is the one which comes by default. So this is the app component, it will be here, and this is the one which gets bootstrapped at first here in this place. Okay, that's the one which gets bootstrapped, and that's one point. And I think that's pretty good enough for us. And we'll see one more thing, components metadata. Okay, so see this, the components metadata. We'll see this one. So here, if you come and see in this documentation, so the component is a decorator that marks a class as an Angular component. Okay, and provides configuration metadata. So what all the things which we will be doing? We will be doing two different things. As I was mentioning previously, we will use this template. So this is an inline template. That means within the TypeScript file itself, we'll add the markup, HTML markup, an inline template for Angular component. Okay. Similarly, we'll use one or more inline style sheets. So we'll use the style sheets also inline. and that's what we do. And here what we do is we'll specify the selector. So the CSS selector that identifies the directive in a template and trigger the instantiation for the directive. That means when we add this particular selector as a tag inside some other place, so that replaces the, I mean, that gets this component and injects at that particular location. So these are the three big pieces we need to know for us to get going. Okay, so we have got this one, and what I'm doing is I am removing all these things. I'll keep it here. So just like every command has been given in this documentation, so I'll just go ahead and run the second step of this one. So we do that npm start. So we do here, we do npm start. So the moment we do, okay, cd college web, and whenever you're running the npm, we need to ensure that we are inside a folder where we have this package.json. We'll look into this package.json in a moment. Now I do an npm start. So when you do npm start, it goes and it compiles this project and executes. So I'll come into this package.json while this guy is going and building this. So if you see this, there are few pieces which we need to understand. So the first one is something known as the dependencies and dev dependencies. So the dependencies are the packages which has to be there on the server where we deploy. Okay, these are must for the application to get executed. Dev dependencies are the dependencies which you have to have it on your laptop or wherever you're doing at least some of the build servers where you want to build and as well as do the unit testing. So in that place we need this dev dependencies, and we did this npm start. So npm start means that is coming and hitting this line, and which internally executes it in gserv. So if you slowly scroll up, and the moment you see this, the moment we typed npm start, technically what is doing is it is coming and executing this command. It is executing ngserv. So we are seeing this ngserv, and it compiles this bundling. We'll come back to this in 6 or 7 sessions down the line. We'll get our fundamentals right. So it compiles and it executes in this port. So I just click on this. So I will click on this one. So we got this application, beautiful application. It's being seen. So what happens is, how does this getting bootstrapped? As we have seen that. So if you see this ng model, so this ng model, we have the bootstrap, and it is loading this app component. So that is this one, app component. So if you come to this app component, here we are seeing the selector. So here we are seeing the selector, and here we are having the template URL. That means all the markup will be here in this external HTML file, and app component.css, and that means all this css we can have it over here. So whatever the thing which we are seeing in this is coming from this app component.ts HTML. I'm sorry, app component.html. You can see this here. We have the footer, and we have these SVGs and lot of HTML also inline. We see the media queries and all those things we are seeing. So I'm just going to remove everything. Okay, all I'm going to write is this h1 hello Angular 11. Okay, that's the only thing. The moment I do this, you can see that it immediately compiled, and you can come and see this. The entire application, whatever it was there, everything is gone. At this point of time, we are seeing only hello world. So whatever we write it in this HTML, that's the only thing, because at this point of time we are having only one component, and that component also it gets bootstrapped here. I mean, this gets bootstrapped in this ng module. Okay, so now let's go to the next step of this, is what we discussed. We need to do few changes. So let's start doing this one. So what are the few changes and why do we need to do it? Here what is happening is, anytime we start our application, we have to explicitly go to that URL. It's not opening the browser and it's not showing up the application. So few things what we have to do is we need to come to this package.json, and here we need to add hyphen o. That means open that. Once it executes, once it compiles and everything is good, it itself will open the browser. That's the first step we need to do. And after that, we need to use this bootstrap. So let me go to npm package. So in this npm package, you go and check this bootstrap. That's for the styling. Okay, see the most popular framework, this Bootstrap framework. So it has got a lot of features. Everything is there. So we are using only the Bootstrap styling. We are not using the dynamic features of Bootstraps only. We'll be using that Bootstrap for styling. So let's go and install anything you want to install. We have to do this. Come and execute this npm I bootstrap. So at this point of time, you can see in the dev dependencies, we do not have anything related to the bootstrap. The moment we execute this command, you see this, that particular line will be added. So all the things which we do use as part of our packages, that will be coming from the npm repository. So the bootstrap line has been added. So we can come and verify that how many people are using that. You can see this, these many number of downloads weekly, and published 3 months ago, like who's supporting, how many bugs are there, all those things. I mean, if some new feature has to be added, or if there is a bug in the package whatever we are using, how can the community or the organizers or whoever is supporting that, how can they support? There is one more package what we need is this font awesome package, and that package has got beautiful icons which we can go ahead and use all those icons. So that's we use this one. Okay, so let me go and install this font awesome package. Right, so those are the two packages which we are installing. And now, how do we import this css? There are multiple ways to import the css. Today we'll see this method. In the next session when we go, we'll see another way to import this. There are few other ways, but let's start with this basic one. So what we have to do is we need to go and do some modifications in the angular.json file. So let me come, now that we have the bootstrap as well as font awesome, and also this one, we made few changes. I'm closing this and coming to this angular JSON. And in this angular JSON, at this point of time, there are a lot of things to discuss, but at this point of time, I'm just restricting. This is the block of styles, global styles that to be included in the build. I am injecting these two things here in this section. And what happens is every time you do the npm install, all these packages will be installed under this node module packages. So if you technically you're referencing a css file, nothing more than that. So if you scroll down a little bit, and wow, it's little bit let's check the bootstrap one. Okay, here you can see this path. So font awesome, bootstrap, and under dist, and you have the css, and you have the bootstrap file over here, bootstrap.css. Technically you're referencing this file. Okay, that's one thing. And the other one is font awesome. So yeah, here if you see that font awesome, so again you can see this font awesome, and inside this css font awesome, this one. Right, so technically we are referencing two physical files which is there inside the node modules folder. Okay, that's the thing. And another thing is, at this point of time, by default, the port on which it was executing was 4002. Here you can see this, that was a 4002. And if I want that to be executed on new port, because we might be working on multiple projects on our laptop, and we can go ahead and have different ports because if it is executing one application and you want to try other application, for some reason you're testing or adding some new feature, so you are stuck, you will not be able to do that. So for that reason, you will go ahead and add this port. So let's assume that I'm adding 4004. Suppose you're working on a second project, you can do 4005 or whatever the port which is allowed and open, you can use that one. Okay, these are the things. And let's do one quick uh, uh, one quick validation. Uh, Button class. We're not going to do that, but just for we are just to see that we're going to remove that in a moment. Just wanted to showcase the whatever this styles, bootstrap style which we have added, and we'll see that one button with little bit of styling. So let this get generated. You can see this whenever we execute npm start, it's going and executing that script uh, from this, and you can see this over here. And we can add a lot of styles are there, and I do shadow, and you can see that you got the shadow there for that application. And I can do uh, uh, margin 4. So you see this, the button has been moved. So all these things, everything comes out of the box. I mean, we can also sit and write all those CSS, but it takes time. The Bootstrap is one of the uh, mostly used CSS framework. Okay. So that being said, I'll stop this and come back and see a couple of points, and then we'll go back to the next step. Okay, so we did this section. So we saw that what is component, and we saw what is uh, app module. We, at this point of time, we are having only one module. Once we progress and we have more and more features added to the application, then we can go ahead and we can go ahead and create different modules. So that's advanced version. We'll come back to that in few sessions down the line. And the next thing is, we have seen that all the declarations will be here, and we'll come back and discuss about the imports module. At this point of time, there is one module called browser module, and this module will make the application run in the browser. So you can see this here. Exports required infrastructure for all Angular applications. Okay, included by default in all Angular application. So the application has to run on the browser. So this module will help us. And the bootstrapping, we are saying that the first component which has to be loaded is here. And let's come back to this index.html. And because we have seen that the selector is the one which has to be in some HTML from where that gets injected in that portion. So if you come and check this index.html, here we are using that app root. So that app root means what is happening is it goes. We already loaded it here as part of the declarations, and we are bootstrapping. That means this is the first component which gets bootstrapped, and here we have the selector that is being used here, and that will display the markup whatever is here. So that's how all the things gets hooked up. Okay, and we saw that decorator. Just now we have seen that decorator piece over here. Here we have seen this component decorator, and also we have learned a little bit about the metadata. So we learned about few pieces. We learned about the template and styles. So these two are inline. Okay, these two are inline. So let's go and try creating our first component. Bootstrapping also we have seen. Let's go ahead and create our first component. Okay, So what we can do is at first we will create one folder called interfaces over here. This we need it for the model or the classes. Okay, model classes, and inside this starter files, which is over here. If I come down and come to the starter files, I have this interface. I am calling it as iProfessor interface. So let me come in over here. I am adding this iProfessor TS, and inside the starters, I'm taking this entire interface here. So we are exporting that interface so that another files can import it. So that's the step one, which we did it. And step two is we have to create a component, our first component, that professor v1 component.ts inside the app folder. So I'm coming in here. First, I'm creating a folder called professor v1, and next thing is I'm creating the our first component. We are creating our first component. Okay, it's this one, and then we create that export class. Let me get this name. What did I use? It's a professor component. Okay, so that's this name I've given. So export this. Okay, so I haven't enabled this. Okay, so I enabled it. So afterwards we discussed that we need to have this component. We need to have this component attribute, and let's bring in the import, and then we have to start with this component. So the first of this component is the selector. So let's use this selector over here at this point of time. The okay selector is this one, and we need to have the template. That's the second one. We have this template. So template can be created using the single quotes, double quotes, or backticks. So the backtick is this one, where you have just one step down to this escape key. That is this one, the backtick. And the advantage of the backtick is we can have the template defined in multiple lines. Okay, so what I am doing is I'm writing one h1 tag here, and I'm calling it as professor. Okay, some people they like the component to be like this. Okay, so it's asking us to use single quotes, so let's use single quotes there. Okay, so now it's not giving any squigglies, so it's happy and we are also happy. So that's the first thing. We need to have a selector and we need to have a template. The template is what if I do anything, I'll not be able to adjust it. Whereas if I do some kind of formatting issue or something here, that will get fixed in this HTML. If I do it in a HTML file, you see this, I have that benefit of having this editor features where I can adjust, or giving me ints, which I don't have if I'm writing it in the TypeScript. I should be extra careful when I'm writing it in this template. Okay, and after that, let's go ahead and add styles. We at this point of time we are not using this. Okay, so let me add the style, and from the starter I'll use only one file, the one style, that's an array. So I use only one style at this point of time. So that is this h1 tags style. So let's start building one by one. Okay, we added this one, and we told that any component which we have it, that has to be there in the app module under the declarations. So I'll come and add it here, and then I'll bring in that component. And let me go and execute npm run, and you can do npm run start or npm start. So let's start, see did we miss anything in using this. And one thing we are missing, I'll let you know. Let it come first. uh, it takes some time to bootstrap, compile and execute. Okay, you see this one, and we are not seeing the professor one. That's because we have created this component and we have the selector also, but we need to inject it somewhere. So let's inject it over here. Okay, so I am injecting it over here, app professor v1. So you can see this, the professor v1 is appearing. So now now this component has been used in some other place. Okay, we call it as a component as a directive. Okay, this particular thing where we are injecting this component in some other html location, that's called component as a directive. The component has been used as a directive. So and then what we will do is we'll start the entire markup. Okay, and let me come back over here. I'm sorry. And before that, I just want to discuss one small piece, string interpolation. So let's go back to this one, and is it over here? uh, Tools, best practice, developers guidelines. I think it is here itself. So anything you want to display or display inside this page, we will use the string interpolation. That means you use this curly bracket, double flower brackets, like interpolation and angular. Okay, see this one. If you come and see this, you have a property here, and that property you want to, it's there in the component, and that property you want to use it in a markup. So you can use double flower bracket, the property, and the double flower bracket. That's the string interpolation, or one side one way binding. That means the binding is happening from component to the markup. So that's called one way binding. So we'll be using the one way binding. So the first thing is we have already created the interface over here, and we need to create an object of that so that we can start populating it. So let me come back to, okay, I have already here, so it will be easy for me to switch instead of going left and right and center from there. I'll do it from here. I've opened up in another place, so it will be easy for me to, what, it's taking so much time. Okay, so the first thing what we will do is we'll create this instance, and we'll add one constructor. There are life cycle, um, uh, this component life cycle and other things which I am restricting. I'm not discussing anything in this session. We'll discuss in the session 2. So we are creating as any language, we are telling that professor is a property which is of this type. So if I don't specify like where variable one, and I can create like this now, because we have the linting, it is asking that the variable one is of implicit type any. That means we can assign any value to this one, but we have the linting enabled, so have to specifically mention whether it is what type it is. Okay, so we are telling that it is of this interface I professor type, and inside this we are creating one property, and this dot professor is, we are assigning some values to this one. Okay, at this point of time we have all these things. So we'll do one small thing here. So here we are saying the professor, and I'll come back over here, and I'm telling that uh, I want to display the name of this professor. So I can come in here, professor dot name. So you got this, and let's come back and see how does it look. Okay, this is not in 4002. That port is gone. We are using a new port. Now you see this. Now the professor Shiva is getting displayed. Now if I go and modify Shiva Reddy, so you can see that that name, whatever we add it over here, that will get picked up and it displays this one. Okay, so the next thing what we will do is we'll build up the entire thing. So what is happening over here is first we'll go step by step. What then you'll understand that how this entire thing is getting built. So first we are taking one div, and let me close this div. So we are calling it as a container. It should have the rounded corners, shadow, and need to have this style. So at this point of time, we don't have that. We'll come back. So you see that it is having a div and it is having the rounded corners and it has got a shadow. So we need this first div. So for that styling, I have already added the styling in the starter files. You can go and grab that. As and when we are proceeding, we'll grab one by one. So now if you come back over here, you can see this light blue color, the styling is there. Okay, that's the first piece. And the second piece is we have already added that. So let's add this line. I forgot that H1 over there. So let's go and add this piece, these two lines, and I will add this here. So we have to manually do that. That's a pain. So it is displaying that Professor Shiva V1. That's our first component. And then what we are doing is we are adding another div where we are bringing in rest of the information. So once we add this, it will be easy for us to understand. It's just a div, and we are adding rest of his information. Like you have this ID is this name and anything. If you change the value, we have already seen that, but we'll see one more time, like 2233. You see that that value gets updated. Okay, so apart from that, there are few other styling which we are using at this point of time. So one is for paragraph and one is for span. So we'll place this and we'll see what is the difference here. If you come in and see this, each of this information we are displaying it as part of the paragraph, and the value which is coming in from this object, that we are putting it inside the span. So just for a styling piece, like these span tags has been bold, given the bold, and this is there. So that's our first component. We built our first component, and this first component has been built where everything is using a single file. So that single file has got markup, that single file has got styling, and everything is there, and the TypeScript class, everything is there inside a single file. So let's proceed to the version 2 of this component, which will be very easy for us because we already built what we needed. So let me create a new folder. Let me call this as Professor 2, and let me grab the naming and everything from here. That's the name of this file, the TypeScript file, and it will have its corresponding markup in a separate file. So that will have this HTML, and the same will be for the styling, CSS. Okay, so let me come in here and just grab this guy and drop it here. Okay, let's go and bring in this, and also we need to bring in the import for this Angular. There are extra space. Let's bring in, what do we need it? Let's bring in that guy, and that is troubling us. It doesn't like this double quotes part of linting. So no problem, we have to stick to the game plan. So single quotes, no, single quotes. So it's happy and we are also happy. And we need to have the component directive, and you can see that the component directive should have this metadata. Here it gives it the decorator that marks the class as an Angular component and provides configuration metadata. So let's start with the metadata. So what will be the metadata? Here we set the app professor v1. Here we call this as a app professor v2. And here we can do two things. One thing is the template is what? It's an inline template. I'm saying that the markup. This is I want the markup from the same file within the same folder. So I am mentioning it here. So the professors v2, and previously we use styles. Now we will use the styles URL. Now we use the styles URL, and that will be CSS. And let me grab this over here. Okay, so styles, it's an array. If you place this over this, it shows that that should be an array. So let me go grab this, wrap it like this. It's happy. So it should be an array. Either the styles also, if you see in this step one, the styles is also an array, and similarly styles URLs are also array. So we can have multiple this thing. So we did this, and the second step is anytime we do it, we need to. Did I change the name? Okay, that should be Professor V2. And let me copy this, come back to app module TS, and place it there and bring in its namespace. We are importing that, and once that is done, we will quickly come back to this guy and take this selector. So let's go and add it inside this. Okay, so we'll come back over here. It's displaying nothing because we don't have anything over here. Which one? Professor V2. It's adding Professor V2 out there. That's good. So how tough it is to build this now? It's all pretty simple. All we need to do is copy this markup and drop it over here. And I will do format. And now you come and see that you have the Professor V2. Now the object, whatever we have inside this professor is this. It's a Matthew. It's not Shiva. So let me paste it over here. You can see that that's Professor Matthew, ID2, and some salary. And the next piece, what we need is from here, we had quite a few stylings. So we need to steal those stylings. So let's get this stylings and come back over here for this Professor 2. And all these backticks I have to remove. Okay, and now I can see this. We have the styling. So just to differentiate, to showcase, let's use some other color over here. So you can see that that shows that the styling is unique. It's not something which is very specific. Now you see this, the styling is unique because this CSS will get applied only for this component. It will not impact other components. So that we have it. Now the next thing is I want these two divs to be placed side by side. So how do we do that? That is a simple tags. That's it, nothing else. We need to add these classes over here. So let me come in here, go to that app component, and I want to wrap these two guys. There is one more shortcut. When you want to move a code, select that code or place the cursor and Alt and up arrow or down arrow key to move up and down based on your requirements. So that's one tip. So we have this. Now you see both these guys has been placed side by side, and there is no space between these two. That's again we have the CSS. So PX and PX is we'll see. Let's see the behavior. PX is left and right 2 pixels space. So let's come and add that class PX hyphen 2. Oh, okay. You saw that a small gap. Now if I add that same PX over here, now you see that there's an extra space now. So 2 pixels left, 2 pixels right. Similarly, for this component, 2 pixels left and 2 pixels right. So now we have a nice visual look and feel. Okay, so we have done this, and now we understood. Let's quickly recap. So we every visual look and feel we'll do it using components, and we saw that in the documentation. And the component will have a component attribute, and inside that you will pass the metadata. So we did 2 ways. One way is we had a metadata and we used inline template and inline styling. So that we made the component, and that component we have imported under the declaration and added it as part of our app component HTML. So component as directive, that's the technical jargon for that. So that displays the visual look and feel from this version 1 of the app component, sorry, professors component. Now we created another professor component. This time again we went created a new folder, and we have separated all those 3 pieces into 3 different files. So the TypeScript, which has got this class, this object, and all those imports with these metadata and the attribute and metadata. And HTML is purely markup. This file doesn't contain anything, and we only have one-way binding. That means the object, the TypeScript to HTML. So in a simple terminology, if you think that, so we have the object inside the TS file, and that we are accessing inside the HTML markup. It's like property dot object dot property, and within this flower brackets, 2 flower brackets. That's called string interpolation, or it is called as one-way binding, data binding. And we have the CSS where we can go ahead and do the styling. It is exclusively for that particular. Now we know the pain. So now what we do is we'll go to the next step where we want to create. We did this, we did this. Did we miss anything? No, we didn't miss anything. Let's create the navigation bar. Now, till now we just created everything manually. Now we'll see the power of ng generate. So how do we know that what do we have as part of ng? Just type ng, and you can see that all those commands which are available. Okay, so it says that when you type ng, it says there is something known as ng new. So I don't know what is ng new, so I do ng new or n. Okay, just type ng new, ng new help, and that guy is giving all this information. What do you want to do? So ng new, and want to generate something. So all these commands and its options it is giving us. So we'll use we want to create a ng generate. Okay, so when you do ng available commands, you can see that what all the commands we have, and one of the command is ng generate. So ng generate hyphen help. So you click on this. So we used ng new initially. So when you do ng generate, it says that available schematics is app shell, application class, component, directive, enum, a lot of things are there. So at this point of time, we want to create a new component. So you can see this ng new, and we have used, now this time we're using ng generate. I want to generate the component, and that component should be placed inside the components folder. So at this point of time, we don't have the components folder. Please observe, we don't have anything inside the app, inside that app. So what we can do is, there is something known as a dry run. So before executing the command, always use this -d or dry run. So what that will do is, when you execute this command, it will tell that it's not going to create anything, but it is telling that, what it is telling, it's telling that it's going to create a folder called components, and inside that top navbar, and it's going to create the HTML specification, TS and CSS. Also it is going to modify the app module. If you compare what did we do previously, we have created those components, and we have to manually command update it here. So we don't need to do if you are executing this command. So now we are satisfied. Now remove that -d, and you execute this. So it has created, and it has updated also. It has created these files, and it has updated the module.ts. You come and see that. Let me minimize this guy now. Right? You can see that the top navbar, everything it has taken care. We don't need to worry about it. It has taken care about that. Chalo. That being said, now rest of the things are a little bit of. Now we have that top navbar over here, and let's come and check that what is the selector. The selector is top navbar. So I'll come in here, and I will add that. The top navbar has been added. So let me npm start. Let's start this and let it come. So let's spend one more minute of time. So bootstrap, go to this bootstrap, and you have this bootstrap over here, and you have examples. And here you can see that there are a lot of examples in this. I'm sorry. This is one of the example where we have this dashboard, or any of those things where you have this top nav bar. Okay, so we can go and see that the nav bar also. You can come in here, and we will have all those here, this layouts and everything, whatever you want, everything will be here. So you want to create a components and the nav bars, anything you want. So you can come and check this, how the nav bars are getting created. Like, it will start with this nav bar, and it will have a branding. So at this point of time, let's do a very baby step. We'll have the top band and one banding. So let's stop. Stop there, and then incrementally we'll come back, and we'll have all these things, including the login, log out. We'll do every feature, but step by step. So at this point of time, we will focus only on that piece, where we will go and add this markup. So it's just very simple markup. Everything is here. Everything is there. So let me come in here. So before that, let's see what is there in our this one. Okay, see this. It's having this top nav bar works. So I will remove that, and I'll place this over here, and let's come and check this. So it has got this top nav bar, but one of the branding what we have, we don't have it there. So this is the color which we have to define it here. So let me go grab that style sheet in this styles.css. If I go to the styles.css, I mean, it's the same, almost same styles, except that top nav bars thing. You can see that we have one for HR, so that you will see that this horizontal row has been given a color, nothing else. And span, we have the paragraph tag, the div, and this one. The one thing is top nav bar primary. So what is there in the top nav primary is this color. If you come and check this color, this is the top nav bar primary color. So if you want the band to be little bit of this orange color or something, you can go grab that particular color. How do you want it? And that's it. So you can come in over here. You can see that the top band will change to that color. Okay, let's stick back. Let me reverse it back to this. Let me place it. Okay, so that we have seen this top navbar. And one more thing is here I said that padding is 0. If I remove this padding, you see this, the top navbar is little bit wider in height. And if I don't want that, I can do p-0. That means padding is 0, so it will be a little bit slimmer than that. Okay, so now we understood how to create the top navigation bar. Okay, it's from this bootstrap itself. We went into the components and we saw that it's just this one and this branding. That's it, nothing else. Simple branding class we have taken. See this, we have one, this one, and one div, and this nav brand. So we took that and this div and this brand, only these top 3 lines. We didn't do anything new. So we have that. Now let's create the version 3 of our component. Now that we know how quickly we'll be able to create this component, so let's go and grab this guy and come back. Let me stop it. I'm saying that ng generate a component. So it has created the component over here and updated the app module. And let me come back over here and see this. The professor component is there. What I can do is I will go there and okay, I'll keep this aside. Let me purely work on this because I have a reference over here. I don't need to switch the windows or something. So I can take this everything from here and drop it in this. Um, okay. One second, let me delete it. I will ask the Visual Studio to do that. Okay, it did that. So we have this. This is a new professor. And then the next thing is we need to have the markup. And let me go grab the markup. It's the same markup. It's nothing new. It's a same markup, whatever we did it. I go grab this and I'll remove this markup. I'll use this markup. The only thing is app professor v3. There are few naming conventions that we'll come back and discuss a little later. And let me go add this x and y, and then npm start. So let it compile. It's bundling. Let me close all these windows so that I'll get some extra space. Doing this bundling. Okay, I think we are all set. So you see this, the third component is also here. So we have 3 beautiful components. And one thing I do is go and change the style for this div. Let me use some different shade for this. So let me make it a little bit lighter. Apologize for my colors if it's striking. So three soft colors, cool. So we have three colors. Okay. So coming back to the technical stuff, we what did we learn today? Let's do a quick recap. We didn't spend much time, but at least, if not an excellent UI, we were able to do a decent UI, and we were able to learn decent techniques to do all these things. So we understood what a component is. So we understood what a component is, and main building blocks. And component will have the TypeScript class and a component decorator. And inside that component decorator, we will give the metadata. And we can have the inline HTML or inline CSS, or you can have a separate thing. So we did the same. The version 1 of the professor is this one file, TS file, where we had a single component. We had a constructor and a property of this iProfessors type. And the selector, we have the inline template and inline style. And next we progressed a little bit where we said that, okay, we want to separate everything. So we created the class in TypeScript, and the same object is there. And then we moved all the markup to a HTML file and all the style sheets to CSS. So we did the separation. And then we came and learned how ng generate, the ng CLI help us to build the things faster, because here we have to come and manually add to app module. What if you forget? You'll spend hours together. So the next thing is you come and we executed that ng new ng generate component, and it created this beautifully and also added it. All we need to do is modify this constructor accordingly, constructor or the class and the markup. So we did that, and we saw a nice beautiful uh, band with this brand. Okay. And next thing, we created the ng component, ng generate component, and the third version of this professor where we added this. And the difference between 2 and 3 is 2 has been manually created, and 3 is created using the CLI command. So you see that everything is coming pretty good, and we don't have anything here. In version 2, we had the styling CSS specific to that. And in ng3 we started using the styles.css. That means it is globally, it will go and apply this globally to all the components or all the elements, the tags, which either for h1 tag, p tag, span tag, or hr horizontal row tag, or anyone who's using this class, that goes and applies that. Okay, that becomes the universal. So within short span of time, at least we made our hands dirt to find out like how can we quickly go and create this components and a brand. So in the next session we'll work more on this. We'll do some other binding, two-way binding. We'll learn a little bit more on life cycles and other things, but this is for the session 1. So see you guys in the session 2 next month, or next session, whenever it is. Back to you, Ritika and Yash.
Thank you, Swami. This was really insightful. I mean, I'll also try something on TypeScript. I worked earlier, but this is something I can, really try. And I don't see many questions on the chat.
Mhm.
So I have highlighted Swami's information on the screen here. So if you want to connect to him on LinkedIn or Twitter, you can find the credentials there. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him.
Hey, Gulam, I'm a little worried now. You're coming as a competition for me learning TypeScript.
No, no,
you're scaring me.
no, 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 don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed. So, as I was mentioning, so next session when we are doing that will be session 3 of 15. So, we'll build on top of our existing knowledge. I mean, we'll not do the same things. We'll do something more, and I'll plan what will be the next step of this. Today we learned only the one-way binding. So, how will be the we'll be doing the property binding, and how can we add buttons, and how can we click on button and do some functionality, and how can we see the two-way binding and all those things in the next session. Till then, thanks for joining.
Thank you all for joining. I hope you will have a great new year. So happy new year and have a great year ahead. Thank you so much. Yash, any final thoughts from you before we call this off?
No, I think I'm good. I just wanted to share one more thing that we might not have the meetup next month because of the Global Power Platform Bootcamp. So see you all there, and then we'll continue with our sessions from March onwards.
Okay,
Thank you, Yash, for
bye
adding
guys.
that.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.